Have you ever wondered what it would be like to walk in someone else's shoes? To see the world through their eyes, feel their struggles, and understand their pain? What if you were the boss of a company, but no one knew who you really were? What would you discover? What truths would unfold? And how would it change you? Today's story is about a man who decided to find out. He went undercover at his own gas station, and what he discovered left him speechless. But before we get into that, tell me, where are you watching this from? Let us know in the comments below. It's always amazing to see how far our stories reach. Now, let's dive in. The gas station was called QuickFill, a small but busy spot on the edge of a quiet town. It wasn't fancy, but it was the kind of place where people stopped for fuel, snacks, and a quick chat. The owner, a man named Garrett, had built it from the ground up. He started with one pump and a dream, and over the years, it grew into a thriving business. But lately, Garrett had been feeling disconnected. He spent most of his time in meetings or behind a desk, far removed from the day-to-day operations. He wondered if he still knew his employees, if he understood their challenges, or if he was even making a difference in their lives. That's when he got the idea to go undercover. Garrett decided to take a shift at his own gas station. He changed his appearance, wore a simple uniform, and introduced himself as Greg, a new hire. The manager, a kind woman named Lila, welcomed him with a smile and showed him the ropes. Garrett was nervous but excited. He wanted to see how things really worked, how his employees felt, and if there were any problems he didn't know about. What he didn't expect was to hear a cashier crying. Her name was Maya, a young woman in her early 20s. She had been working at QuickFill for about a year. Garrett had seen her name on payroll reports, but he had never really spoken to her. That day, he noticed her standing by the counter, her eyes red and her hands shaking as she tried to count change for a customer. Garrett's heart sank. He wanted to ask her what was wrong, but he knew he had to stay in character. So he waited, watching and listening, hoping to understand. As the day went on, Garrett noticed how hard Maya worked. She was polite to every customer, even the rude ones. She cleaned the store without being asked, and she always had a kind word for her co-workers. But there was a sadness in her eyes, a heaviness that seemed to weigh her down. Garrett couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. During their lunch break, Garrett sat down next to Maya in the small employee break room. He introduced himself again, trying to sound casual. "Hey, I'm Greg. I just started today. How long have you been working here?" Maya looked up, forcing a smile. "About a year," she said softly. "It's a good job. The people are nice." Garrett nodded, but he could tell she was holding back. "You seem like you're really good at what you do," he said. "But if you don't mind me asking, are you okay? You looked upset earlier." Maya hesitated, her eyes filling with tears. She looked around to make sure no one else was listening, then whispered, It's been a really hard week. My mom's sick, and the medical bills are piling up. I've been picking up extra shifts, but it's still not enough. I don't know what to do." Garrett felt a lump in his throat. He had no idea his employees were struggling like this. He wanted to tell her who he really was, to promise her that everything would be okay. But he knew he couldn't. Not yet. Instead, he said, "I'm really sorry to hear that. That sounds really tough. But you're strong, you know? You're doing everything you can, and that's something to be proud of." Maya wiped her tears and gave him a small smile. "Thanks, Greg. That means a lot." The rest of the day passed in a blur. Garrett worked alongside Maya, Lila, and the other employees, learning more about their lives and their struggles. He realized how much he had taken for granted. These people weren't just names on a payroll. They were real people with real problems. And he had the power to help them. That evening, after his shift ended, Garrett went back to his office. He couldn't stop thinking about Maya and the other employees. He knew he had to do something. The next day, he called a meeting with all the staff. When they gathered in the break room, Garrett stood in front of them, no longer in disguise. "I want to thank you all for your hard work," he began. "I've been the owner of this gas station for years, but lately, I've felt disconnected. So yesterday, I decided to work a shift as a new employee. And what I saw, it changed me." The room was silent as Garrett continued. "I saw how hard you all work, how much you care about this place and each other. But I also saw the struggles you're facing, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. Starting today, we're going to make some changes. We're going to raise wages, offer better benefits, and create a fund to help employees in need. No one should have to choose between paying bills and taking care of their family." The room erupted in applause. Maya stood up, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you so much." Garrett smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. "No, thank you," he said. "You've all taught me so much. And I promise, I'll never forget what it's like to walk in your shoes." The story of Garrett and QuickFill spread quickly, inspiring other business owners to do the same. Garrett became known not just as a successful entrepreneur, but as a compassionate leader who truly cared about his employees. And Maya? She stayed at QuickFill, eventually becoming a manager herself. She never forgot the day her boss went undercover and changed her life. So, what's the moral of the story? It's simple. Never lose sight of the people who make your success possible. Take the time to understand their struggles, to listen to their stories, and to show them that you care. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about profits or growth. It's about people. And when you lift others up, you rise too. Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. Stories like these remind us of the power of kindness, courage, and standing up for what's right. If this story touched your heart, made you think, or inspired you in any way, let us know in the comments below. Tell us where you're watching from. And don't forget to share this story with others. Sometimes, a simple act of sharing can make a huge impact. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our community. We've got more heartfelt stories coming your way. Until next time, remember, kindness changes lives. See you soon!